Hi everyone, here's my week's data for this week's Beyond the Classroom assignment. The purpose of this week's assignment was to further understand how to visualize the data we can work with in Excel and to become more familiar with pivot tables and charts and how they can enable us to use this data in even more ways. So as you can see here, I have some pretty basic information regarding flights coming out of Tulsa International Airport. We have destination cities, flight numbers, departure times, status of the flights, as well as the airlines on which they were being flown. So as you guys can see here, one of the first steps in this week's assignment was creating subtotals. So if we look at the top of my work, we can go to Tools, we can go to Data, and using the subtotals bar, create quick subtotals for each of our cities. So as the data goes through, we can see when our cities change after we sorted them alphabetically, and then we can count how many flights were being flown out of there. Along with the subtotals, allows us some quick navigation on the left-hand side, which allows us on the third most level to see all of our cities' flights and their subtotals. Second most level, the totals for each of our cities as well as a ground total. And then on the last level, just a grand total. So here we can see we are dealing with 21 flights and all the information within. So from here, with this full table, we can create a copy, and that is seen in our morning departure sheet. Here we can have a pretty plain list of information without the subtotals, and with this we can use this to create a pivot table. So all we need to do there is click within our chart, go to our tables, and then all the way to the right we can summarize this with a pivot table. After clicking that, we can send this table to a whole new worksheet, and here we can see our pivot table. The pivot table comes with a nice pivot table menu, our builder, which allows us to click and drag all of the different parts of our original data table and create different aspects of our pivot table. So here we have filters, column labels, row labels, and values. As far as filters, we have departure times. This allows us to, as part of the assignment, filter through only our times between 6 and 9 a.m. Here we have all of our other times unclicked, and they're not going to be shown in our table, but that's easy to change. So in addition to that, if we bring up a builder, we have the filters, column labels. This is going to be our status. So if we look up to our column labels, we have diverted, landed and delayed, landed on time. And then row labels, we have destinations with a sub-label of the airline. So here we can see our bolded title are the cities we're going to, with the airline below. And finally, we have the values with our 1s and 2s of just how many flights fit under each label. So overall, I found this assignment extremely useful in dealing with large amounts of information and how to get that in a chart that's pretty easy to read. The most difficult part of this assignment was dealing with the aspect of Macs that don't allow them to create pivot charts. So I'm going to have to turn this in as is. A possible workaround is just creating a chart out of this, but that won't allow us to quickly change it through the use of a slicer. The buttons on a slicer allow us to quickly parse through the information and create charts that are really flexible, but it just doesn't seem to be possible in a Mac. So here's my assignment. I hope you guys learned a lot, just as I did. Thank you.